30 seconds. Thank you. Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me up for the canvas. Could I say a few words?
Feel free.
Thank you. Now, you hear me say many times that there's never ever a perfect election. Never will be. Just the way, it's just the nature of the beast, how many things go on. But this was a very successful election, for Mohave County. It was very successful. And what I'd like to do is just say a few stats. Basically speaking, this could have not happened as well as it did unless we didn't have the following. There were 4 full-time election staff members. There were 20 part-time election staff members. There were 7 full-time recorder staff members, if I got the numbers right. There were 15 voter registration early voting staff members involved. There were 339 poll workers. There were 168 political observers at the poll sites on election day. At least that's what was signed up. I don't really know, when they were out there. There were 5 political observers in my department from election night up and through last Thursday. There were 16 members of the political party that helped us do the hand count, the early ballot audit hand count that happened, and we got it successfully completed in one day to the penny, so to speak, on Veterans Day. There are family members that had to put up with us. That one out there, my wife. And then again, there were 82,758 people that exercised the right to vote. You add all that together, it's 83,332 people needed to make what happened happen, okay? So I just want you to take that just in general, and we did a great job, and there's many people out here that are out here just because they were part of that job and are standing behind me right now. Couldn't have ever done it without them. Now I'm here for questions. Thank you.
Questions for Director Tempert. Supervisor Bishop.
Could you repeat the total number of people to make this happen in Mohave County?
574 people that weren't voters, added all together is 83,332. So 574 people to make it work.
Amazing. Very good job. Thank you for making Mohave County proud.
Thank you.
Supervisor Angus.
Great job, Alan. We've spoken, and I wish that we could send you and your team down to Maricopa and Pima and give them some lessons on how it's done. Because as everybody knows, and there are people who speak to it, it's a mess down there. And, we've been approached. And what I want to say right now is no matter what happens today, this is like 2020 redo, because we went through this same thing in 2020. We were asked not to certify for a time. The legal date that we must certify by is the 28th. And I don't intend on doing anything that would put Mohave County in legal jeopardy, because we did everything great, just like what you said. And I don't think it's fair that we have to pay the price, that we have to go through this sort of angst every election because of what goes on down there. So whatever happens with this vote right now, I want everyone to know it has nothing to do with Mohave County, because you guys did an awesome job. This is probably the first election I did not get one call, not one. My phone's ringing all the time, so excellent job. Thank you.
Cut off your phone that day.
I did.
Dark powers cut off your telephone line. Supervisor Lingenfelter.
Oh, nothing except to echo what everybody else has said. I mean, an election that is run like is run in Mohave County is a reason to actually have confidence in our elections, not the opposite. So I just want to thank you and the 500 other plus people that made it work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, great job, Alan. Great job to all the staff and to the people that worked at the polls, to the 574 people. They did a great job. You always do a great job.
Thank you.
Chairman Gold.
Supervisor Bishop.
Once again, Mohave County leads the way, and with that being said, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the canvass of the November 8th, 2022 general election, adopt the Board of Supervisors resolution number 2022-025.
I'll second.
You've heard that motion and second. Any further discussion?
Yes, please.
Supervisor Angus.
So we've been approached not to certify the election. I know there are many people who are here to speak to it. And right now, that list includes Gila, Yavapai, and Cochise. And I would like to hear, I think Jeannie Kench, who is the chairman of the Arizona Mohave County GOP, would like to give us some updates and tell us what's going on and how we are involved, whether we like it or not, into it. So before we vote, would that
Yeah, I'm going to run through. I've got about, I think, 8 people that requested to speak.
Okay.
Madam Assessor, come on up. Madam Chairman, County Chairman.
Definitely have my chairman hat on today. Thank you for having me, Chairman. Chairman Gould and the board. To canvass is to validate our votes. Mohave County voters are fortunate to have Alan Tempert as our election director. He's probably the best in the business. Alan Tempert did an excellent job, and I witnessed it. I was there. I was on the hand count. I was just impressed all the way. Fair, honest. And Mohave County is a great example throughout the entire state of how it should be done. This is why I would like to see you certify the election. But I'd like to see you to certify the election vote so we don't risk the statutory recount that could help our Republican Attorney General candidate, Abe Hamadeh, because you need to have all 15 counties certify in order to recount. So that's the concern we have. But if Maricopa County doesn't certify, which doesn't look that way, then we're going to be without a recount anyway. So, but I also understand that Mohave County voters have been disenfranchised. Mohave County voters have their votes have been diluted. Mohave County has become, their votes have been worth less than they were prior to this vote, due to the mismanagement and the dysfunction of the Maricopa County Elections Department. Maricopa County's vote suppression is evidenced by voters that could not vote, my sister being one of them, by ballots that were not counted properly, by tabulation machine malfunctions in 48% of their voting centers, by the stalling of their counts, and by the investigation that has been started by the Arizona Attorney General just this last Friday because of their mismanagement. I wish they had, Alan. I really do. And I'm glad I don't have the decision like you guys do, because to certify this vote could put our recount in jeopardy, but yet to not certify the vote could put our recount in jeopardy. But to certify the vote tells everybody around the state how great we are and how they should do their job. So good luck on that decision. Any questions?
Thank you, ma'am.
I have
questions.
a question.
Supervisor Angus.
So we were told the statutory date for certification for us is the 28th.
Yes, ma'am.
I heard that, until everyone certifies, we can't do the recount, right?
Correct.
But now there was an Attorney General letter that went to Mohave County, Maricopa County, and they have to supply a lot of things by the 28th, meaning, have you heard, are they planning on certifying? I don't even know if they're done counting.
They aren't done counting as far as I know as of this morning. I have not heard. I know that the Attorney General did say by the 28th, but even the 28th isn't the same day that the county board is going to get together to certify. So what's going to happen? I don't know. There's a lot of different questions, and that's why I'm glad I'm not in your seat.
So already there are 3 counties that are not going to certify at least till the 28th, because again, I would never go past the 28th, no matter what anyone said, never going to put Mohave County in any legal jeopardy.
Good.
But whether or not we do this today is more of just a statement, just like in 2020, because we are going to certify before the statute date. And so since the other counties didn't, they just need one county not to certify,
And then
so
you-
that the whole state can't certify. So again,
Correct.
just like, I mean, this is 2020 redo. If we don't certify today, we're just making basically a statement of solidarity, which is the same word I used 2 years ago, you know, for the other counties and the Arizona GOP, that, you know, we understand and we're mad. I'm mad. I think everybody in Mohave County should be mad.
My vote has been disenfranchised, and I agree with you 100% that that vote of solidarity might be very valuable because everything changes every 24 hours. And so not understanding how they're going to handle it, how the governor's office, how the attorney general's office is going to handle it, is kind of difficult for you guys to know how to handle it. But it won't hurt any to delay it for that vote of solidarity, so all the other counties do know that we got their back.
Thanks, Jeannie. And I have a question for Mr. Elters. If we did vote not to certify today, could we theoretically have a special meeting on Friday, which would be the Friday before the Monday that it's due? I know last year there was talk that Alan had to get in a car and drive down there with the certification, but that didn't happen. They worked with you. You were able to overnight it. But I wouldn't want to go to Monday because I think that's cutting everything too close.
I'll take a drive on Friday if that's what you need to do.
Weigh in on that.
Chairman Gold, Supervisor Angus, as long as you can set a special meeting for Friday, as long as every board member is available. By statute, if every board member is not available on that date, there has to be a 5 business day notice. So that kind of depends on availability of the board for what date you set a special meeting.
Isn't Friday a holiday for your employees?
Chairman Gold, Supervisor Johnson, technically no, there are employees that take a floating holiday that day. However, we do not observe it as a actual holiday in the county, so it is a work day.
So this would be a special meeting by phone, I would assume, because it was just one issue, one vote. And again, I hate that this is put upon us, I do. But I frankly, I'm torn about it. But I want to hear what the other supervisors have to say.
Supervisor Angus, to answer your question, I defer to Attorney Esplin.
So 11-214 states, at least, so the board shall notify the public of the location and the day of days designated. Special meetings may be called by a majority of the board or by the chairman. At least 5 days notice of the special meeting shall be given to any member not joining in the call. I'd prefer you just do it on Monday, just to be safe.
I'll take a drive to Phoenix on Monday if you need me. And anything to have a fair election.
Supervisor Langenfelter.
Thank you, Chairman Gould. So you're saying to delay in order to allow this strange process down in Maricopa County to play out?
I do agree with that, yes, sir.
Okay, well, you know, the issue of voter integrity is very important to me, no matter how you feel about it. I'll withdraw my second to approve today, just to allow for some adaptability in what this board chooses to do.
Further questions for GOP Chairman? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Lisa Pickard. Sorry. And Lewis Proudfest is on deck.
Hi. I had the privilege to be an observer, a ballot counter, and a machine observer during the election cycle in Mohave County. I was very impressed on how well organized the operation was. Both political parties were always involved in each of the many processes to check that each and every ballot was counted and verified correctly. After the experience, I have no doubt in our election office. I encourage everyone to volunteer in the process to understand how well the election system works. My hat is off to every single volunteer, to Alan, the Mohave County Director, and Steve, the Deputy, who were very professional. You have helped me to have the utmost confidence in our election, and it was a fantastic opportunity. I was honored to be involved with Mohave County Elections Office in the 22 election. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Louis Proudfest. Glenda Irwin on deck.
Good morning. My name is Lou Proudfoot. I'm the second vice chair of the Democratic Party for Mohave County. Excuse me. I was here in August for the primary, reporting on what we saw during the primary. And as Alan said, this was even better than the primary. More smoothly, it processed more smoothly. Things went better. We had a lot more observers. We had a lot more people involved. And so I think that we should evaluate the process that we went through and evaluate Alan's report, which is very straightforward and very clear. And the question is, should we certify the results of the election in Mohave County? And I think very strongly that we should. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Glenda has had another appointment, and so she won't be here.
Thank you, sir. Teresa Evans.
Oh, it is still morning. Good morning. I just wanted to say that it was an awesome and fantastic experience to work both the polls and early voting with the most amazing people that I've ever had the privilege to work with. Alan Timbert and Christy Blair are two of the most fantastic people to help you through with whatever you need to learn to run a very smooth election. Kudos to them and their staff, of which I'm proud to be part of. We did have some slight hiccups, not because of Alan and Christy or anything else, but because of the fact that, one of the complaints that I heard was the sample ballots came out on October 21st. Early voting opened up on October 12th. Not everybody received a sample ballot, from what I understand, and I do not know if this is state or county statute, that only those that are not on the early mailing list does not receive the sample ballot. The second thing is, we had to talk people out of shooting mail carriers, simply because of the fact that when the ballots came out, the husband would receive a ballot, but the wife didn't. Or the son and daughter, or the aunt, uncle, mother, whatever. Half the household might receive it, the other half didn't. This needs to be addressed. The third thing that needs to be addressed is, I understand that you voted against voting centers. But when you stop to look at it, we already run one in each of the cities on early voting. People can come in from all over the area and do their votes. Why can't we do that on election day? We have the facilities to do it. We have a fairground. This building is huge enough with a parking lot that's big enough. I don't know what Havasu has to offer, or Bullhead has to offer, or Colorado City, or any place else. But I seriously think that needs to be considered. It would make it easier for everyone, because not everybody can show up at early voting. The other thing that I marked down is the information booklets that are sent out. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but when I go to vote for a judge or a candidate, I want to know where he went to school. So I think we need to look into those information booklets. But this election was one of the best. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I attempted to when I was in the state legislature, to put together a more informative book on judges, but the judges didn't like it, as you might expect. Thank you, ma'am. Sure. Scotty McClure.
I just want to say thank you to the 574 people that worked on this. Hoorah. Maybe Maricopa County needs to bring back the Chads so they can count them right. Sarcasm, okay. The only thing I observed down there in Bullhead was, I go to the library a lot, as you guys know, is that you could go into the library and, and vote early. Now, on election day, you had to go down Train Road and then Raymer to the church. They did not have voting on that day at the library. There were quite a few people going to the library to vote. They had their things in their hands. So now they got to get back in the car, and some of these guys were with canes and walkers and stuff, and then go find a church that they don't belong to, maybe. But they didn't know where to go. The library was at least giving them directions. But if they showed up the library closes at 5, but, this confused a lot of people. They weren't informed that the library is closed for voting on that day. I think it ended on Friday or Saturday, whatever. But so there's just one little thing that they didn't know where they were doing. They weren't informed. Maybe they don't do the newspaper or the news. Of course, we get Phoenix News, off air. They're not going to tell the people in Bullhead where to go. But, and I think the main reason that that this election ran so good is because there weren't any Democrats running. Whoa, I need an escort with the sheriff.
Thank you, sir. So we have Supervisor Bishop's motion. I believe Supervisor Lingenfelter has withdrawn his second.
I'll second it.
So Supervisor Johnson seconds. Clerk, can you want to restate the motion?
It's just a motion to approve the canvas.
So you've heard that motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed say nay.
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 The nays appear to have it. Do have it. So ordered.
Chairman Gould?
Supervisor Angus.
I make a motion that we delay the certification until a special meeting called on Monday, November 28th
I'll second.
Time.
at 9:30 a.m.
I have a question, Mr. Chair.
Supervisor Johnson.
Can you tell me what is going to change on the canvassing of this election? Or is this just a political statement we're making? We're not doing what the agenda calls for?
It's both. It's a political statement. I'm not going to lie. We did it last year. We did it in 2020. It doesn't hinder us. It's not going to hold us liable. It's, again, a statement in solidarity with other counties who are doing this and basically say, I'm surprised there are this many counties, frankly, who are not certifying. I think last in 2020, we were the only ones saying, this is unacceptable. What's going on is just unacceptable, and you better get your act together. And I hope we can put more teeth in that. And I hope the legislature takes it up. And I did speak to Clint Hickman, who's on the Maricopa Board of Supervisors over the weekend, and, kind of shamed him enough. And, I was surprised that so little was done between 2020 and now. I think that was shameful. And, again, you're right, Supervisor Johnson, that's exactly what it is. I'm not going to lie.
Supervisor Bishop.
Yeah, I think this is only a political statement, and, maybe rightfully so, but this is the canvas of the Mohave County vote. Mr. Temperate laid it out to us. We had a good election. We've got Democrats and Republicans that spoke about how good the election was. There is no reason for Mohave County not to canvass this vote, and to have a special meeting on Monday when, I don't know about the other supervisors, but my agenda is pretty full on Monday. So I either get my vote, what's the terminology you're using, saying that we're disenfranchising our vote? This board is disenfranchising my vote unless I cancel my appointment so that I can join everyone in this political statement, and I think that's just kind of ludicrous. I mean, we're not Maricopa County, we're Mohave County. Our vote is solid. Our canvas is going to be solid whether or not it's today or Monday. It's going to be the same. We're good.
Currently, this is the only political statement that's available to us to make, that we're dissatisfied with the continuing poor run elections in Maricopa County, which disenfranchises our voters. It is purely a political statement, but it's the only way that we can make that statement. Thank you.
Chairman, if I could just add just a couple of things procedurally. If you bring it back on Monday, it'll have to be a reconsideration because you have voted against canvassing the election at this point. So if you bring it back on Monday, one of those persons on that side will have to move to reconsider the item. And I also have to stress from the county attorney's office, we recommend approving the canvass no later than the 28th on Monday.
Thank you, sir. So we'll have to agendize that as a reconsideration.
Reconsideration. And Chairman Gould, can I ask Alan again, is that going to put you in a very bad position? Are you going to have to hop in your car and zoom down there, or maybe Jeannie will, you guys can go down there, we'll buy you dinner like Supervisor Gould did last time?
It will not.
Okay.
This is a little different than last time. There's a few more days of play with when we didn't have it then.
Fantastic.
Thank you, sir. So a motion on the floor. Do we have a second on the motion?
I second it.
We have a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed say nay.
Nay.
The ayes appear to have it. Do have it, so ordered.